Hi everybody! So a while back I had gotten a request to get some information on how you communicate with deafblind people. So I just want to warn you, I'm not an expert on this, but I'm just going to kind of explain some of the experience that I've had, and also I went online and did some research, the Deafblind Association, their website and things like that. So that was things that I didn't know, and I will also include links below for you guys if you are interested in more information. So let's get started. Okay, first I want to emphasize, when I say deafblind, that does not mean necessarily a person is fully deaf and fully blind. It varies, just like people who are just only deaf, their hearing loss varies. Some people are hard of hearing, they can hear quite a bit. Some people are fully deaf, they can't hear anything, and the same goes with deafblind. Some people may be more deaf and less blind, and some people might be fully blind and can hear a little bit more. So again, it just kind of varies. That's why there's so many different methods that you can use. So now I'm going to explain some of the things that you can do when you're trying to communicate with deafblind people. First, I'm just going to give you some tips on communication. So the first tip is to remember, some people, kind of same like your eyes, throughout the day your eyesight gets a little bit worse, then it's not as good at the end of the day as when you started. So just kind of warn you, at the beginning of the day, somebody who's deafblind, they might be able to see, pretty well. They might just need you to sign a little bit closer, and that's it. And then throughout the day, their vision might go down quite a bit, and they might end up at the end of the day needing tactile signing. So you don't know. So just make sure you ask the person what they need to communicate. So the first thing that's possible is the person might be able to see, reasonably well, and so they might just need you to sign at a closer distance. So that's just usually when someone's called low vision. So, for example, maybe someone signs, usually you're at about this much distance, you might just bring it a little bit closer, maybe here or maybe there. So again, just ask the person, do you need me to be closer, farther, whatever their preference is. Okay, another possibility is instead of having a larger signing space, you may need to make a much smaller signing space. So just a small box here on your chest. So sign about right here. So don't use too large of a signing space. Another thing that's very important, and most likely with all or most deafblind people, is you need contrasting colors. Like, this is an example. You can see my hand and this vest are a very similar color, so that wouldn't work very well. So what I would need to do, or you would need to do, is see here I have this color, this black, and that's contrasting against my skin tone. So since I'm lighter skin, that means I need a darker color. It doesn't have to be black, but that usually works best. If you have a darker skin, then you would need to wear a lighter color, more like this vest color. So again, darker skin, lighter color, and that's contrasting, and that'll help them see more clearly. Another possibility is you might need to sign slower. So sometimes, it's already a little bit blurry, so if you're signing really quickly, then it's really tough to see. So just take your signs a little bit slower. You don't have to be super, super slow, but just a little bit more of a relaxed pace. Okay, another possibility is if somebody has less vision, they might use what's called tracking. So I've noticed that's not as used as much, but this is what it is. So that's what's called tracking. So that means that the deafblind person is holding your wrist. So it's kind of giving them a little bit more control, meaning if they need to, they can kind of make your signing space a little bit smaller, but also it just helps them to be able to track, like it said, where the signs are at. So they can kind of follow with their eyes a little bit easier because they have their hands to help out. The next method that you could use is what's called tactile. So that's typically used if somebody's fully blind, or sometimes if they're very strong, like have a strong deaf family, they might use something like Tactile, which is this. So that's what's called tactile. So meaning one person is signing and the other person, the deafblind person, will have their hands over the signer's hands, like so, and like you saw in the video. So that's what's called tactile. It doesn't matter if you're signing, if you're finger spelling, they have their hands over your hands. And that's called tactile signing. Another method which I've barely ever seen, but it's mainly used like, to see if maybe you don't know any sign language at all, or maybe you don't know much sign language and you meet a deafblind person, you can do what's called print on palm, and that is this. So that method, like I said, is more for people who don't know sign language, and you're literally drawing the letters of the alphabet, A, B, C, onto a person's palm. So they'll be able to, it's like finger spelling but without signing. They can get the letters on their palms, so to speak. Okay, one last thing I want to include and kind of emphasize is when you're communicating with a deafblind person, make sure that you're including more visual information. For example, when you're watching somebody using sign language, you're watching their hands, the actual signs, but you're also watching their face, their facial expressions. So if a person can't see well, or they can't see at all, maybe they're fully blind, they can't see those facial expressions, meaning you need to include them in your sign language. And also just visual clues. So if a person's, really mad, someone can be irritated or furious, so you need to include that in your sign language. Say that person is very mad, or that person is, really sad, or, if a person's crying, for example, the deafblind might be able to see that or hear that, so you need to include, oh, the person is crying now, the person, is flipping out, whatever that is, make sure you're including the visual information. Maybe things about the room, like, okay, there's, a few windows in the room, there's a lot of people in the audience, or, how the tables are set up. They're set up this way with a bunch of people sitting in circles around the tables, things like that. Include those, and that'll help a lot. So if you're interested in more deafblind communication tips, or you're interested maybe interpreting for deafblind, go ahead and click on the links below for the Deafblind Association and the other ones that I have. You always can go ahead and ask me questions, and I will answer them if I can. Hopefully you guys, this has helped you a little bit with deafblind communication. Again, if you have any questions, leave them as comments below, and I will do my best to answer those if I can. If I don't know, I will try and send you to somebody who does for that information. As always, I will have my videos down here, so please go ahead, check those, let me know, what do you think, and yeah, hopefully I enjoy you guys here as always, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!